quarter section. So we're going to move this guy down below. Maybe drop him down to level 1, the first floor. And hopefully that artillery, hopefully his artillery observers aren't as good as ours. Seems like the rounds are getting closer. Still no sign on the artillery rounds on the BMP. Looks like airbursts he's dropping on us, so it's nice to see the artificial intelligence with Combat Mission Shock Force is certainly of a much higher grade than you would find in any other type of war game on the market. And that's certainly something to see that the years of Battlefront is spent developing these games, or war games. And that's nasty artillery. Our headquarters section is safer on the first floor with air bursts. That's a fairly decent place to be, and it looks like our artillery rounds are, oh wow, that looks pretty much bang on there. Or almost, we've already hit we have hit the roof of that building the RPG team was in. Or at least one person, probably more than one. So that's good. Certainly causing some damage to that building. Hopefully that will definitely take care of that RPG. So we won't have any problems egressing up those roads. Both Route 66 and the road on the just out front of Farm 1 here. These are 120mm rounds, so you wouldn't think very large rounds, but they certainly do seem to do the effect to a layman like myself. I'm kind of curious to see what the 155s do on Hamlet number 1, where the BMP is. So, turns over with here. Well, oh, what's that? Looks like, I guess I'm going to rewind that. Just want to see what that is. Sometimes you can actually see where the round came from, if it's a lateral flight weapon system, or, no, it actually, okay, vertical. So that's probably artillery, and it's way off. So, like I mentioned, not the best sometimes using infantry to call that in. We're going to cancel this one, though. It seems like they did a really good job on that village. That captain did a really good job. And maybe we'll... everything else is busy, so we may have to use our 155s here. I thought I already called those in, but I guess I didn't. I guess the infantry did a 120mm mortar strike on the BMP, my fault. So we're going to try 155. We're trying to see if we can get they call it a linear line, if you will. We're asking for artillery rounds to fall along that line. And you can make that in kind of some funky, you can put into it like an L or whatnot. You can actually maneuver it a little bit, from what I understand. Okay, we're going to use armor artillery rounds here. We're going to make that immediate, and we're going to confirm that. It's going to be about a 57-meter line, and it's going to be about 2 minutes before it's on target. So I'm going to cancel the infantry, which just doesn't seem to be able to get that on target. I'm going to have them cease fire. And might regret this, but I'm going to bring the headquarters squad section back up to the roof. Alright, so looks like everything seems set. And we'll have them move along this irrigation ditch. So we'll let that compute. Once again, it's a we go system, so not like turn-based where I go, you go. Kind of an outdated system. Battlefront has had this since the good old days of Combat Mission Beyond Overlord many, many years ago. Some more radio chatter there on the artillery. I guess the CC firing. Still a couple more rounds that were in the tube there landing on the village. Or I guess farm number 1. And there's probably the one. Well, maybe that infantry was spawning the rounds there in Hamlet 1. It does seem like he was actually coming further to the left. We did cancel him. Something crashed. Obviously, a building's falling apart here. Gotta rewind that just to see that. I haven't seen that before, so I didn't see the building collapsing with the RPG team, hopefully inside. Can always wish. Okay, move that infantry up again. I used the hunt command, which probably wasn't the best thing. As soon as they see an enemy force on hunt command, they go to ground and either engage the target or take cover. So maybe move him up here. We'll use a quick maneuver, kind of a quick little jog, if you will. Put him up along that irrigation ditch, get a better view on Route 66. The headquarters section looks pretty good. Let's see here what we do. Artillery, hopefully we can get that on target soon. I think I'll move that headquarters section. Hopefully there's no more artillery coming down on them. Maybe if I don't open fire, that might be a good idea. Might conceal my position for a little bit longer. Alright, let's see if we can get any artillery on that BMP. It's certainly just sitting there, and it's not a good thing. So we've got some infantry moving along the ditch. Some fairly decent cover there, at least from the left side. It certainly shows that there's quite a lot of little valleys and little defilades, positions there. So we're going to have to watch that when we're moving our armored vehicles. Hopefully there's no minefields or anything in here either. That wouldn't be so good. Alright, so it doesn't look like what's happening this turn here. Maybe we'll get some artillery rounds dropping. This is the Dora line, I guess. That's one of our main objectives there, is to get past that line. And looks like we got some artillery rounds coming in. Ooh, that seems fairly large. That must be the 155s finally coming. Certainly a fairly large impact crater. You can tell the difference between the 120mm shells and the 155mm self-propelled rounds, or self-propelled artillery. And they seem to be spotting. I'm just going to move that a little to the left, I think, because really they seem pretty accurate. But I want to get. Maybe I'll try to get a light of sight here. It's kind of a little hard from what our forward observer can actually see. Change that. I'd like to get that a little to the right. There we go. Hopefully we can get a few rounds that just go a little off that line, and lucky to get a hit on a BMP, or we can always hope to damage the vehicle. Combat mission is very hyper-realistic, and many of their assets or vehicles can take damage from anything from tracks to optics to infrared scopes, weapon systems. So it's certainly, even though you can't destroy a vehicle, just hitting the vehicle with the right caliber of weapon can certainly degrade its performance on the battlefield. In essence, almost taking it out. We're going to have this GPR. I'm just going to move that, spot that up, see if we can get anything, sight any more enemy targets that we can use our artillery to take out. See if these 155s can bring it home for us and maybe take out that BMP too. Even if it does take it out or damage it, we might not be able to see anything. Usually if a vehicle is destroyed, you'll see a black smoke cloud rise up. Didn't see that round. Uh-oh. Once again, the AI is trying to take, it's hitting us where our previous Team 1 was. So there's certainly, if you stay in one area too long, they seem to drop some ordnance on you. So that's nice to see. Kind of a counter battery or counter reconnaissance, making our reconnaissance teams not see what we want to see. And we're just watching our little Mercedes Jeep here move along to the right flank. Seems like the 155s are dropping, as well as the. Oops, here got a little lost here in my map. There we are. So the 155s are dropping quite nicely. If there's any enemy forces in those buildings, it's certainly they might be having a bad day. Not sure if we're getting the BMP or 2, which is really on the other side of the or the most northern section of the village. And our jeep seems to be moving up fairly well. No issues, I don't think, there. And our squad seems to be doing okay. Hasn't absorbed any new enemies. Of course, I can't see the BMP anymore with all that explosions and dirt flying through the air, and the dust is obscuring their area. I'm going to just have them crawl on their bellies there. We call it slow movement. And see if we can get them into a better position a little bit. Let's move these headquarters section. We already have someone off to the right side. Maybe we'll go to the left flank. Let's do what we do best, and that's reconnaissance. And let's see if we can just move over to the left there and maybe have them get to that irrigation ditch there. Should be seeing, I think it was it 10 minutes, I think, or several minutes anyways, but I think we're almost, should be seeing the our reinforcements, the Panzer Grenadiers. Maybe it'll be the next, maybe it's 2 more turns from now, but...
Feuer einstellen! Feuer einstellen!
We're going to have them cease fire here. I think that Hamlet number 1 is taking about as best of a hitting we can give. Whether the BMP is damaged or destroyed, I guess that remains to be seen. I certainly hope it is. Some more counter-battery artillery there, I guess. We're trying to get our reconnaissance force. And the rounds that are still in the tubes and in the air on Hamlet 1. Certainly very effective. I called in 2 tubes on that. Maybe that was a little much. I should maybe just keep it on. One is pretty much, and that artillery was pretty much bang on. I was hoping for a little bit of missed rounds, but just so we could get the BMP, which we didn't really have a sight on. I'm just going to rewind that just to watch our vehicle moving along here. He seems to be moving pretty fast, as I asked. I basically said the fastest the vehicle can move. They seem to be moving quite good. Drive off the road here, so that of course would correspondingly reduce the velocity of the vehicle off into the, looks like some grain or whatnot, wheat fields, and we'll have them occupy that irrigation ditch at the end of this turn. Ah, okay, so we have received our reinforcements, so that certainly is a good thing. Because we can get those new forces, and oh, there they are right there. So, looks like we got some martyrs with, yeah, it looks like 1, 2, 3 platoons worth, so a whole company of forces, so that certainly is good. Also makes me a little wonder why we have so much forces, so obviously the map's going to have some surprises. So join me in part 2. And we'll have this up on YouTube for you to take a look. Thanks for watching part 1 of Hammer Force.